Okay. What's up? Before we get started, I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to hop on, but I'll just go ahead and get started with announcements. Um, all right. So, for you guys, if you weren't at Super Saturday or Friday or Super Weekend, whatever they call it now, a lot of stuff coming in the pipeline. Really, really exciting stuff. One of our very own, she's actually our guest speaker tonight, Tori. She's in the test group right now for 10 rounds, and she's been messaging me every day like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And the first day she was like, 2 words. And I'm like, what? And she's like, 8-pack. Like, she's like, I'm going to be ripped. This is awesome. So it's really, really cool to have somebody on our team to go through that, to watch go through this. And also, Tori, I'm probably going to have you go live in the team page probably in like a month or so and give us some updates and kind of tell your story through this program so that we can use you and your resources and get ahead of the game on this. So 10 rounds is coming in March. Super excited about that. It seems amazing. 5 days a week. There's 2 days of lifting, 3 days of boxing. A lot of great stuff. Another program coming is with our female trainer, Idalias. I think that's how you say her name. She's actually a prenatal, postnatal kind of, that's the workout program that she's really been diving into on Beachbody On Demand. And she actually has a Spanish speaking program that she's talked about, that she does on Beachbody On Demand. I think it's an English version. I actually never dove into it. She's one of our newer trainers. She was a D1 athlete in college, super athletic. I don't know if you follow her on Instagram, but they gave us a sneak peek at Super Saturday that she's coming out with a running, walking, lifting program. So it's going to be like the first ever indoor-outdoor program, which I feel like is really cool. One of the coaches on our team, Chelsea Eade, she was a D1 athlete, a track star. So I feel like, that could be a really cool thing for anyone that likes to do 5Ks or runs or turkey trots or whatever. Like, they like to get outdoors, but also have a regimen inside. I feel like with her knowledge and just expertise in that field, that this is going to be a really cool program, something a little bit different and out of our realm, which again, this is Carl innovating like he does. So I think, if we wrap our brains around this when the time comes, it's going to be really powerful. Another big announcement is registering for Team Cup. We have until the 31st to get our teams together. Remember, guys, it's 5 teammates. All you do is pick a captain, pick 4 other people other than yourself, get a team name, get registered. Remember, only 1 diamond per team. So that means, like, if somebody's diamond, then everybody else has to be diamond or below that. Just a fun competition. You find teammates, you work together in a pod for the month, you try to get as many Success Club points as you possibly can, and they give away really cool prizes. It looks like one of the prizes that they're giving away is a bar. So I think if everybody probably hits Success Club 10, they're going to send you a bar, or I'm not sure exactly. There'll be directions if you guys just go to the Team Beachbody Cup website. But really awesome prizes and just a really fun way to connect with people. So we can get pods going in our team page, like a group thread, kind of like who needs teams, and just pairing people up. It doesn't matter, but if you're competitive like me, you're going to be with people. You're going to want to be with people that want to work hard and hit Success Club, so that you can reap benefits of all the prizes. Next thing is BOD groups. It's coming in March. Their advice to us is get as many groups going as you can right now. If you can run free groups that you can get in the My Challenge Tracker app. If you can start challenge groups with one of the new launches that we have, 4 weeks of the prep or 4 or 6 weeks of the work, or bar blend, or an old school program, just kind of bring your people back, right? It's the beginning of the year. It's our opportunity to kind of welcome people back, resend the invites to your customers. They don't need to buy anything. Just invite them to be a part of the community, because they say that the more groups that you have, the more people that are involved. There's going to be some awesome incentives for that in March as well. So make sure you guys look into that. And then another thing in the pipeline is that on January, that was today actually, in the Beachbody Champions page, there was a training. I missed that. There was a training about the France launch. So we went to the UK, was it 2 years ago now? And now we're expanding to France, and that's coming later this year. Really exciting stuff. There's going to be a lot of training a lot of opportunity for us to grow in the sense of understanding how to launch in a different country. So just make sure that you guys are putting that on your calendar to make some time to educate yourself in that field. Okay. Any recognition? Anybody want to shout anybody out?
Yeah, I actually wanted to shout out my team. I haven't even told them this because honestly, you guys might not know if you were on my team call like a few weeks ago, I guess, or a few months ago. Last year was super challenging for me, and this is my 5th or 6th year, however you want to look at it, in coaching. But our team pulled out and hit team leader still last year, and I'm just really proud of you guys because it takes all of you to do that, and I'm really excited for this new year to go even bigger and better. So you heard it here first.
Yeah, girl. Congratulations. That's amazing. Team leader is the second benchmark. There's 4 on the road to the elite, guys, and team leader is the second benchmark. So that's fantastic. It goes team builder, team leader, is a premier leader now, an elite leader. So really, really awesome to, not an easy feat by any means. So definitely takes teamwork. So congrats to you.
I really quick want to just call out 3 of my coaches that are on here. Elena and Carly. I know you guys are both exhausted. So much going on in life. And then Brittany Saploway is on here. It's her very first team call, so welcome her.
Whoop, whoop.
Hasn't even officially started coaching yet. She's excited to jump into the new mentorship group that we have on Monday. Natalie, if you want to mention that anymore. But guys, I'm proud of you for being here, and I'm excited. It's going to be an awesome call from Tori. So thanks for being on here.
Maggie, do you want to mention that? You seem a little bit more in the know.
Sure. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm unmuted. Yeah. So is Mackenzie not on?
No, she had to sing at church tonight.
Got it. So the new group is, I'm really excited for it. It is a community of people that all want the same thing. And so what we're really hoping to do with it is to get people in, get people showing back up, get people connected to each other. And what it's going to be is you're going to work through levels of coaching. And so we all know that, like, when we are doing our own shit, sorry, I hope there's no kids around, when we are exercising, when we are eating healthy, when we're showing up for ourselves, we are going to be way better coaches for other people, right? And so this new group, my favorite thing about it is that every single person, no matter how long you've been coaching, whether you've coached for a long time or not, you start from scratch. So you start from showing us in the group, I'm going to do this too, that you are doing your vital behaviors just for yourself, not even for your business. And then from there, once you're taking good care of yourself, it adds on building blocks, giving you little bite-sized pieces of the business that you can take, that you can run with, that you can do at your own pace, but that you have to check off these foundational levels of the business so that you're building from a strong foundation. And so that when you do build, you're in a positive place, you have support, you have this community of people doing it with you. And so it's really neat because it's a way for older coaches to start over, to draw a line in the sand and say, hey, whatever has happened in my last however many years I've been doing this business literally does not matter anymore. That's in the past. Draw a line in the sand, start from scratch, and go. New coaches, same thing. You are starting, and you're going to have all of the tools, all of the resource, and probably most importantly, the mindset training that you need to be successful with this business. So I hope all of you join it. I'm super, super excited about it, and just excited to see where it takes all of us. So yay.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, I'm going to introduce Tori. Just want to tell my story. She's going to tell her story.
Hey, Nat, we had one more.
Sorry.
Jess.
What?
No, sorry. I was going to shout out my coach, Michelle. This is her second team call. She came to her first Super Sunday this weekend and loved it, and she is committing to hitting Success Club this month for the first time, and she's got it in her. So,
yay! Congrats, go girl, go get it.
I also have a really quick shout out. So okay. Alex isn't a coach yet, but she's looking into it. So she's using tonight kind of as a preview to see what we're all about and if this is for her.
What up, Alex?
loving all of these coaches that are, or soon to be coaches that are in here just to see what it's about. This is awesome.
Yeah, so
We
cool.
love you guys.
Are you guys done now? Can I talk? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So let's talk about Tori for a second, because I want to share this with you. I think this is really important, how we met, because Tori and I are kind of new friends, but it feels like I've known you my whole life. It's really weird. My husband and I lived in Jacksonville, Florida for the last 3.5 years. He's in the military. And when we found out that we were moving to Maryland, which we just moved to Maryland in September, I knew I needed to build a community here. That's kind of something I've gotten used to. As we move a lot, I go to a place where I don't have any friends, and it's up to me to make friends and find people to hang out with. And so I joined those Facebook groups. One was called Annapolis Moms. And so I'm just kind of like going through this group and, talking to commenting on stuff, not really like reaching out to anybody, just kind of getting the feel of like what's going on, really using this group as like a resource for myself. What do moms do with their kids? I've lived in Maryland before, but this was before I had kids. This was 8 years ago. So life's different now. And I wanted to see what was going on. And then one day, this cute little brunette girl posted a post in this mom's group asking about wedding information. She's actually getting married the Naval Academy, which is where I got married, and was asking a question. I believe it was about flowers or something. Yeah, and I remember the way that she asked the question. It was like, I could like feel it in my soul of like, wait, we can't have flowers in the chapel? Like, that's so weird. And I remember feeling that exact same way. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, let me respond to her, because I know how she's feeling. So anyway, we were talking on there, and then I ended up sending her a message privately. I was like, hey, like, I got married there. If you have any questions, whatever. And we started to learn about each other, and come to find out, her fiance, soon to be husband, is going to be a pilot. My husband was a pilot. So she's literally like behind me, going to live the exact same life that I just came out of. So they're about to move to where we moved to, and then transition to where we transitioned. And then who knows, maybe she'll end up back here in 8 years. But long story short, that's the power of relationships in this business. My intention was to make a friend and to really just get to know somebody and to have a community here. And what I learned about Tori was, number one, she's a mom. Number two, she loved health and fitness. This super fit girl that goes to the gym all the time was not interested in my at-home workouts. So I just was like, well, hey, at least do the free trial and try it out if you can't get to the gym. And she did. And within 2 weeks, she was like, holy cow, I've never had abs and I already do. And I'm learning clean eating, and I love this. So I invited her to be a coach, and 4 months, this is her beginning of her 4th month. And here she is. She's a success starter. That means she's hit Success Club the first 3 months of her business. And she was invited to be a test group participant, which is such an honor. There's like 155 people that were chosen out of 400,000 coaches. Tori was one of those coaches. And she actually said, I really want to be the person talking. I want to be, I want to have a team one day. I want to do these things. And I'm like, well, you shouldn't have said that, because you're going to be speaking on our team call now. And I was really, really excited that she said yes, and that she was willing to do it, and do it so soon, because, Tori has struggled in her mindset, guys, so much in terms of believing in herself and worrying about what other people think of her, and wondering if she was capable of this business, and feeling like she was falling short of her goals, and questioning herself. And, as an old coach, I still go through that. And I know that new coaches definitely do. So Tori, I'm so excited to have you here with us to kind of share your story, give us the real, and go for it.
Yeah, it's been a great, and it's been a struggle so far, but it's been great. I'm glad you went through that whole backstory, because I was going to try to do that, but like my nerves were a little heightened. So I would not have explained it as good as you. But so I'm just going to start off by saying that this is like one of my biggest fears, is speaking to people, having people look at me, listening to what I have to say, just totally not my thing. I run from it at all opportunities. But I remember I think it was in the first couple weeks of coaching, I was listening to a podcast. I think it was Bob Heilig, the virtual upline. And something he said really stuck with me. It was, your biggest fear is your greatest calling. And this was what came to my mind, like immediately. So I was like, you know what? I am deathly afraid of public speaking, but like, that's it. Like, that's what I want. So a couple months into coaching, when Natalie, we were sitting down talking, and it was kind of in a time that I was struggling, and she asked me what I wanted. I was like, I want to be that person that inspires and can make people feel the way that I feel when I leave a team call. Like, I want to do that. So she was like, all right, you're doing it. And I'm sitting in here thinking like, holy shit, I was talking like 2 years down the road, like not next month. But she pushed me, and I'm glad that she did, because it feels really great to be here. This is not something that I ever thought that I would be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. She kind of gave our friendship backstory. I'm going to go a little bit further back into my story individually. So in high school, I was a high achiever, all A's, all the honor societies, captain of sports teams, like that person. I didn't do anything half-ass. I had massive goals, and those continued into college, but real life kind of hit. I switched majors a couple times, had trouble finding myself. And then, fast forward to my senior year, I met my, actually it was my junior year. I met him. I met my now fiance. I met him March of my junior year in college. And then 6 months later, I was pregnant. So life really smacked me right in the face. And it was, not something that I had ever envisioned for my life. In my family, that is not what you do. You do not have children before you are married, before you're, have your life together. So it was really like a shock to me as well as my family. So it kind of just took my life and flipped it upside down. We did what we had to do, and I ended up graduating college. I took my last final like 2 days before I had my daughter. So I cranked it out. But there was a lot of feelings of failure in that. I immediately went and moved into my parents' house because my fiance, he is still at the Naval Academy, and he has to live there. So I was living with my parents. I was doing the mom thing on my own with their help, but I did not have Kevin with me. So there was a lot of struggle, and I kind of just had to throw myself into it and forget about all of my plans. My plans had gotten pushed aside, and I was working on, accepting that. So I ended up moving to Annapolis to be closer to him so he could see us more. And I grew a lot in that, but I also began to feel a little bit more lost. I had no help anymore. I was a mom, and that was it. I had nothing else really in my life. I was also, a couple months after I moved, working 6 days a week as a waitress, which is hard work, but incredibly unfulfilling. If any of you have ever been waitresses, you probably know that. So I was at a loss. I literally had lost myself completely. And I sat down one day, and this was probably almost like a week or two before I met Natalie. Funny timing, actually, that I sat down with my fiance, and I lost it. I had a breakdown. I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my life. I'm not using my degree. I have no job opportunities in front of me. I don't know where I'm going to be in 5-10 years. Like, I have nothing that I'm looking forward to other than being a mom. So that was kind of my rock bottom. And then I met Nat. She showed me this amazing opportunity. And back little details, I was the girl that looked at this and was like, hell no, like that's ridiculous. Like, I can't believe people do that with their time. Like, it's just a scheme. They just want you to buy all their stuff. Like, I had all of that judgment going on. But after, being welcomed into the community by her, I saw it for what it really was. And it just totally changed my life. Like, I remember the feeling that I got just being in my first challenge group. I wasn't even a coach yet. I think this was like a week before I started. Sorry, my dogs are fighting. Oh my God. Sorry. But I remember the feeling that I got, and it was just like this spark, like in my heart, like it like truly, truly was like the greatest feeling that I had had in such a long time. And it had been really what I was waiting for and what I was looking for. So I dove in. I let go of all those judgments, and I was just like, I'm doing this. And, I still had that quality in me that I had when I was younger of like, I don't do anything half-ass. Like if I'm doing this, I'm doing it. And I told my fiance, I was like, you know what? I don't care what it takes. Like, don't let me quit. Don't. Like, I'm making this work, whatever it takes. So my first 2 months as a coach, they were awesome. I hit my goals like that. The people were pouring in. I was feeling great. I was doing things that, I was putting myself out there. And it was just easy. And I didn't really have to work super hard. I mean, I was doing my vital behaviors and I was interacting with people, but I wasn't like going the extra mile. I was just kind of doing the base layer that, everybody should be doing, but I wasn't doing anything to set myself up for real big success like I wanted. So December rolled around, and I remember it was like December 9th, and I hadn't really been talking to anybody new, and I didn't have anybody that I saw that was going to be like joining my new groups or anything. I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, I'm good. I'm going to chill. Like, I have the rest of the month. I'm whatever. So I think it was probably like December 26th, and I still didn't have a single person that was signed up. And I was like, shit, like, what did I do to myself? And it was the whole self-sabotaging, the whole 9 yards of negative self-talk, negative mindset of like, what are you even doing? Like, why are you doing this? Like, you got a college degree, you can go get a job. Like, what are you doing? And I went home to my parents for the holidays, and I pulled out a high school yearbook, and I looked, and on our senior little pictures, we had underneath of it, like, what our goals were. And I read mine, and it was just like some ridiculous stuff. Like, I wanted to like travel the world and be a pediatric cardiologist, or like some massive thing like that. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I failed. I got knocked up my senior year of college, and now I'm a Beachbody coach. And I spiraled down that judgment zone again that I had fought so hard to get out of. And I totally sabotaged myself. I was back. I felt like I was back at square one. And I don't really remember when it was. I was doing a crucible workout from 6 weeks of the work. And Natalie texted me some advice about, digging deep. And it woke me up, and it was just like, this isn't a joke. Like, this is what you want. Like, you want this. Like, you are like, don't sabotage yourself because you're going to sit and let that mean girl tell you that you can't do it or that you failed in your life, because that's not true. Like, your life took a different path, and that is okay. But don't sit there and tell yourself you're a failure just because you're not where you thought you were going to be. Sorry, I'm reading these chats. Okay. But yeah, I woke up, and I leaned back in. I got my head out of my ass. I'm sorry if you guys have kids around. I just don't have a filter. But I did, and I had to grind it out, but I hit Success Club by the 31st. I had to get my brother to sign up like 4 hours before midnight to make it happen. But I did it. And I just had like a renewed sense of what I was doing and why I started this in the first place. And I've kind of rode that wave, and I'm still here. Like, 2020 is like the sit down, Sharon. Yes. Sit down, Sharon. I just read that. But yeah, 2020.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second because we don't want to leave them out. But at our Super Saturday, we were all together, and Mandy Kai spoke, and she talked about that inner mean girl. And she was like, if you can name her, then you can talk to her and she can't control you anymore. It's kind of like you're bringing your gremlins to the light. So anytime she would like negative self-talk, she'd be like, Sharon, get out of my head. Like, Sharon, what are you doing? And she named her Sharon. So sorry if there's any Sharons on here, or you know any Sharons, or your mom Sharon, or your sister Sharon. Sorry. But she named her mean girl Sharon. So it was just like a running joke. You guys wanted you to be in on it. But anytime, like, name it, like, because it's kind of funny. Anytime you're talking about yourself negatively, or you hear yourself and you're like, Sharon, get out. Like, you're not invited. Sit down. So it was just that.
Mine does not have a name yet, but it's coming. But I definitely, and we all have it. We all have it no matter how mentally strong we are. We have that mean girl in our head that says, like, what are you doing? You can't do that. That's ridiculous. So I made it out of that funk. And, you know, I'm not naive to the fact that like these mindset things are going to happen again and I'm going to fall back into that hole. But now I feel like I have the strength to pull myself out of it and realize what it is. And it's just the inner mean girl. And it's all those limiting beliefs that I have about myself that are not true. And the only thing that those will do is hold you back. Just shut them out and just do what is in your heart. Just do it. Trust, lean in, do it. I've kind of lost my train of thought, but that was all I had for like my little journey. I have some of like my top lessons that I've learned in the first 4 months now of coaching. And they're kind of woven into what I just talked about. And this is the top one, I think, is mindset. Your mind controls everything that happens in your life. Whatever you tell yourself, that is what's going to happen. So if I remember I had my diamond goal was December 12th. And when we made that goal, I sat there and I told myself, I was like, that's not going to happen. Like, that is way too soon. And whether I was conscious about it or not, like, I sabotaged myself because my mindset told me that it was unachievable. And if I had gone into it with the mindset of this is going to be tough, but if I grind my ass off, like, I'm going to do it, it would have come out differently. Whatever you have in your mind is what is going to come to fruition. Your mind has power over everything in your life. So that's the biggest thing, I think, that I have learned. Self-sabotage, I already talked about that. That is so real. You have the power to just destroy everything before it even starts because you tell yourself you can't do it. And another thing, what you're doing right now in your business, you're going to see the effects of it in a couple weeks or a couple months. And that's not really something that I realized. It was like, oh, I hit my goal. Like, I don't need to like work as hard, or I can slow down a little bit, but that slowing down is going to catch up to you. And it really caught up with me. You know, I by the middle of November when I hit my goal, I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to chill. And then December came around and it was like, well, where is everybody? It's like, okay, well, I wasn't putting in the work that I needed to a couple weeks ago to hit my goal this month. So you've got to, it's a continuous cycle of, you just always got to keep pushing no matter how comfortable you get that you've already hit your goal, that you've already, you know, hit that milestone, whatever. You just keep pushing because eventually the lack of work is going to catch up with you and you're going to fall back into being not where you want to be. And the last thing, and I think this is like one of the most important and where I have seen the most growth in myself, is do the thing that scares you. I'm doing it right now. And I was talking to Kevin before I did it, and I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't. Like, I was about to text Natalie and be like, I'm sick. I can't do it. I don't want to do this. This is awful. This is my worst nightmare. But doing the one thing that scares you the most is like the most freeing thing you can do. And it will propel you forward in ways that you did not even know were possible. I mean, I remember the first time that I shared, nobody had ever really seen pictures of me pregnant, just because I think I had always felt a little bit of shame behind it. And I remember posting that first picture of me pregnant on Instagram. Nobody had ever seen it before. And I cried and I was so scared and I hated it. And all the positivity that I got back from it, I was like, oh my gosh, like, if you just rip the Band-Aid off and do the things that scare you, the rewards that are out there, you don't even know. Like, it's going to reward you endlessly. People will respond positively, and the people that don't respond positively, like, who gives a shit? Like, another thing I've learned, wasn't going to talk about this, but now that I just said that, people that respond negatively to you, like, that's on them. I still have a hard time with this. I have to drill it into my mind every day that if people respond negatively to you, it's because they are struggling within themselves, and they probably need this more than they realize. But it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. So you can't let that fear hold you back, because the people that need it the most are going to be the people that respond negatively. You just got to keep shedding your light, doing what you're doing, keeping your head up, and just screw the haters. That's kind of where I've gotten to. I obviously still struggle with it. I'm never going to be, I don't think anybody can ever, unless you're like Rachel Hollis, you can't just totally say F the haters all the time, but your life you'll be free. And you'll get a lot more positive feedback than you do negative. So, I don't know how long I've been talking, or if that was nothing.
Oh, that was wonderful. I have a question.
Long, but like, that's really all those are my lessons that I learned. So
I have a question for you, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot. And if you get emotional, it's okay, because we can do that. Okay. But so one thing that, mentoring you and kind of talking to you through this process is you've told me a couple times that you feel like, and I feel like this is like going to be really relatable. You feel like sometimes that you struggle with your vision. And I'm like, as a new coach, you're like, I don't know how to push for things. I don't know what I want yet. You're able with your mindset to show up and kind of flip yourself around. And you kind of have this thing inside of you that you're not going anywhere. And no matter what, you're going to figure this out. And even though you have those down days, you're able to like flip it, which leads me to believe that you have a vision and you have a why that's stronger than ever, which is why I believe that, that's so powerful in this business.
Yeah. So
what is that drive? Like, what is that thing that, even though this is scary, even though you have, like, how can you flip it? Because a lot of us, don't have that understanding or that answer of like, how do I come out of this? And, maybe not, you don't have to exactly know everything you want for your life, but what's pushing you right now?
For me, it's never been money. I know that Kevin will be able to take care of us just fine. I've never been driven by money. I really am not driven by title either. I think for me, it's just been something within myself that like, I want to achieve something greater. And that might be kind of vague, but it's like, I want to do something for my family, whether it's financial, whether it's, showing my daughter like what it, sorry, this is going to make me like what it means to be strong. Like showing her that and being able to look back on my life and know that,
sorry, I made you cry.
Like I did something like that. That's what it is. And that for me is bigger than money, and it's bigger than a title. But it's, that is it. It's impact. It's not really, any of the material side.
Love it. Love it. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. So First of all, Tori, you're amazing. Thank you for getting on here and overcoming your fears and sharing. I literally am going to share this recording with every single one of my new coaches. So I hope you know that it has been that valuable. So you said in your first 2 months that you were just doing the base layer. You weren't even doing that much. And I think that you're downplaying how hard you worked, because I think there are a lot of people out there who don't even know what that base layer is and how to actually do that consistent work. So can you speak to that a little bit of what that was for you, what your consistent actions were, any numbers that you remember using, how did you track it? What was your process in the first 2 months to find your success?
Yeah, for me, and it was last week's team call. It's going to freak you guys out. I don't use a tracker. I know I should. And that's something that I really want to work on, but I tried it. Didn't work for me. I didn't use a tracker, but all you new coaches, do it, try it out, start with it there. But it was more of me. I found 6 weeks of the work, and it like hit me right in my soul. Like I loved that program. So it was very easy for me to just, I did my workout every day. I drank my shake. I got the results because I loved it that much. It was not a task. It was very easy for me to show up for that. And to be honest, in my first 2 months, I didn't have to reach out to people. They reached out to me because I think, I don't know if this is true, but I was one of probably the furthest people that they expected to be doing this. And they were like, wow, like this is so great that you're like opening up like this. Like I just received a lot of positive messages in my first couple months, and that kind of led to my business. But I myself really didn't have to reach out that much. And I am grateful for the positive response that I got, but I think it also kind of hindered me in a way of not really realizing how hard people have to work, reaching out, sending those invites every day. So now I'm still kind of playing catch up of really realizing what the work is that goes into it when you're not first starting out and you don't have that like initial shock of people messaging you. I think I had like a pretty big warm market or whatever they call it of people that kind of just came to me really. But yeah, that was kind of how my first 2 months went. And it's going to probably be different for every person, but I was just so passionate about the workouts that I was doing that I found it pretty easy to just show up every day and do it. Cause that was what I was doing. If I wasn't at the gym, I was at home with Lily. So that was my life when I was doing it.
I want to add.
Oh, sorry.
Can I add to that really quick?
Yeah.
I think Tori's downplaying it again because like that's like how powerful is that? She loved what she was doing. She was invested in herself and she was getting results. She was literally being a product of the product, and she was so like attached to feeling good and being a part of something positive that naturally it created this consistency and this excitement on social media that drew people to her. She wasn't just coming into this blind and throwing up a random post on Facebook saying, I'm a Beachbody coach. Like nobody's going to reach out to that. She was literally sharing from the depths of her soul, like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And she told a story, and she's if you guys don't follow her, you should. She's a fantastic storyteller, and just really has a powerful message behind her words. And I think that's what created your business starting out, and what will continue to carry your business. Consistency, guys, is everything, and keeping yourself first, your health, your mind first is everything as well.
Yeah. So just my advice for the first month, at least with social media, is just like share just authentically. Be yourself. Do not, try and say what you think you should say. Say what you are feeling. If you are loving the shit out of your program that you're doing, talk about it. If you're having a horrible day, talk about it. If, like you fall off schedule for a day or two, talk about it. Like you don't have to be this perfect person of like, oh, I'm a Beachbody coach, I'm so healthy and happy like all the time. Like be yourself. That's it. So I did really do that I still do that. I feel like I've gone through waves of the self-doubt getting in my head, and I struggle to post authentically. But that is where I've had the most success. It's just, if you are raw and yourself, people respond to it really well.
Do you guys want to know why Tori struggled in December? I'll tell you. Because 6 weeks of the work ended, and she sent me a message, and she's like, what do I do now? Like, I don't know what program to do. I don't feel like I want to do, I'm not attached to anything. Like now I got to figure out what else I'm doing. And she went through this limbo of where she wasn't committed to anything. So she didn't know how to have a business, where she wasn't passionate about what she was doing or how she was working on herself. And then, she kind of just made it through that wave of, we all go through like kind of figuring out that plan for ourselves. And then boom, now she's 10 rounds participant and kind of getting fired back up again. And she hit Success Club in like the first 3 days of the month.
Yeah. So I did forget about that. I'm glad you brought that up. But if you have passion for what you're doing and you truly believe in it, like people will follow you. And I mean, I'm not downplaying how hard you have to work. You do have to work hard. And sometimes this isn't easy, but if you are just yourself and you're passionate about this business, then it's going to be great.
Okay. I don't mean to be like interrogating you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You're awesome. So, can you tell for like the recording and just for anyone else on the call, like what it meant to hit Success Starters, and then just like what your experience so far has been in like getting started with the test group?
You mean like the requirements to be a Success Starter, or they already know?
Sure. Just for a general review, that'd be awesome. Okay. And just like what it is like with the test group.
Yeah. So to be a Success Starter, you hit Success Club your first 3 months. Well, now they changed it. So if you hit it 3 times within your first 6 months, it doesn't have to be consecutive. But push for it to be consecutive because you can do it. So you hit it for 3 months. That means you help 3 to 5 people or more every month. And I didn't know about when I first started coaching, the test group was not on the horizon for Success Starters. It was just the free summit ticket. Still got the free summit ticket, and I'm so excited about that because I think that's just going to be like the greatest thing ever. But the test group is just like incredible. I mean, it really makes you feel like I know I earned it, but having that is like, I earned this. It feels really good. It's super, and it's an exclusive feeling. There's 150 of us out of 450,000 coaches. It's like top secret details. They're like, don't share this with anybody. Like, keep it under lock and key. We have passwords to all the videos. But yeah, it's a really cool experience. We're getting to work closely with Joel, the trainer for the program. He's super active in our Facebook group. He's interacting with everybody. The videos that we have so far, they just submit it to us one by one, and they're like raw, unedited workout videos. So it's like we are getting the first look of the first look. Like, this isn't even like the whole group yet. It's just him working out. So if you are a new coach and you still have the opportunity to hit Success Starter, like, you want to do this because it is the coolest thing ever, and it'll give you so much confidence. I feel like badass when I talk about it on social media because it's like, not everybody gets to do this. Like, you got to hype that up, and it's a really awesome thing to push for. And then, like, Natalie has told me, and I'm sure I'm going to see this, she was part of a test group, but like, once this is over, everybody that wants to join is going to come to me or come to you when you're in your test group, like, because you have inside information and you have like the head start on everything. So it's really just one of those things you want to be a part of. One, because it's a really cool experience, but two, it's going to give you like just a massive leg up in the following months in your business. Natalie, what you said, it was like a huge wave of like months after when you did a test group. So
yeah, I think I carried on with the shift shop for like 8 months after, and it's a 3-week program. I just kept doing it over and over because I loved it. I felt so connected to the trainer and to it. It's truly a blessing to be a part of it, but also, guys, like, you can treat any challenge group like a test group. You can treat any launch like a test group and make it, it's all about, the way that you market your social media. But yeah, it's definitely truly such an honor and privilege to have the opportunity that you have, Tori.
Yes, it is. And it, like you said, it makes you feel like a true family member of the company. Like, all the staff, the Beachbody staff that's like in the group, they're super connected, super present. They're interacting with all of us. So it's like a really tight knit group, which is awesome. In such a massive company, it really makes you feel important and special, and like what you're doing is actually matters. So it's really cool. Hit Success Starter or whatever. Yeah, do that. It's cool.
One more question, unless you guys are good.
I got a quick one. Question too, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you talked about, talk authentically on social media and like to people and just show your passion, but how exactly did you do that? Were you posting, pictures of you working out or videos of you talking about it? Like, how did you do that?
So I talk on my Instagram stories and share that way of like my day-to-day things. I use my posts more for like bigger, more in-depth ideas. And I really like, for my Instagram posts, I always try to tell myself, like, when I'm typing it out, it's like I'm saying it out loud. Like, if you can't read it back to yourself and have it sound natural, like, that it probably isn't what you would actually say. So the way I would do it, like I'm having a conversation with somebody or I'm telling them a story face to face. And the pictures that I post with them, I obviously try to make it relevant to the post, but I don't really post workout videos for like my actual Instagram. That's more in my stories. But the actual posts for me are more of where I get like more into like the emotional side and the like the spiritual side and like the hard work. And the stories are more day to day, you know, like the fun little snippets here and there of workouts and nutrition and just things like that. But it's been a learning process, the whole Instagram thing, because before I started this, I posted on Instagram maybe like once every 6 months. I was not a social media guru, so don't feel like you have to be. Also, don't feel like you have to be a fitness guru because they literally give you everything that you need to start off strong. And it's just about sharing your passion. And if you find something you're excited about, then just share it however you would share it if you were like telling your mom or your sister or somebody like that. So. Knowing you and Matt, are you? I connect people.
Hold on, let me say this out loud for the playback. Somebody asked, knowing you and Nat met on Facebook, are you mainly connecting with people on Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram. I don't really use Facebook, and this is something that I really want to try to do more of this year because I have a lot more friends and connections on Facebook than I do on Instagram. I just find that I get more interaction on Instagram itself, like with comments and likes and things like that. Facebook, it's not so much. And I've always seen Facebook as like a family thing. I don't know if obviously there's a business side to it. But Instagram for me was definitely where I started and where I've been more present, but I'd like to change that. Any other questions?
Tori,
Well,
thank you so much.
So much. This is awesome. I'm so glad I did it. Thank you, Natalie, for encouraging me and believing in me and just being the greatest mentor and friend. And thank you all for being such an awesome team. I'm so happy to be a part of this. You all are amazing.
You crushed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a good night, guys.